Chairman. Thank you.
Good evening, members. Resumption of the meeting of the 15th of December. I have got one or two things to say. First of all, Councillor Beale is in hospital again, so I'm hoping to send all our best wishes. John Cockin, who was a councillor for Heybridge East from 1987 to 1995, has died recently. I won't ask you to stand, but I just would like that noted, that he did serve for 8 years. And I think to remind members that they have declared interests, but if they find they have another interest to declare during the meeting, to do so. I therefore move on now to agenda item 17, urgent business, which I have none. Councillor Fluker.
I'm not really sure where we are procedure-wise, but I appreciate that someone will probably tell me in a moment. But before I say anything else, Chairman, can I propose, Chairman, that you and the Leader of the Council send a card to Councillor Beale on behalf of us, all of us. I know that ordinarily we would have signed a card, but clearly that's not happened. But I think this is his third or fourth visit in hospital. I've been to see him recently, and we all know Brian, and he's doing his best, but he's in fine shape. Chairman, one thing I wanted to speak to, and I'm not sure if it's the right time or not, Chairman, but it's to do with the length of meetings, Chairman, in particular Procedure Rule 161. Clearly what happened last time we held this meeting, it certainly didn't look good on the tape with members standing up and walking out of the chamber. Can I ask, Chairman, that if perhaps this meeting does last until 10:30, that the decision whether or not to adjourn or close the meeting sits with the members, because last time you had members walking out of the chamber before a decision made, and it really doesn't look good. And Chairman, I do now want to refer you to Procedure Rule 1.3M. Now, as far as I'm aware, Chairman, this meeting was closed, although even though listening to the tape you actually adjourned it. But after you closed it, there was a suggestion, I beg your pardon, you closed the meeting, and then afterwards the monitoring officer sort of said that you'd adjourned it, and then you had to agree that it was closed, and it was closed. So my understanding was at that time, then the business couldn't be followed through to this meeting. But the monitoring officer has ruled that it can be. In some ways I find that slightly disappointing, because I know that members were trying to bring forward motions right up until the last moment, so that opportunity is gone. And I just hope, Chairman, that with regards to the budget meeting, I'm slightly over the place here, but with regards to the budget meeting, I do hope that officers, bearing in mind that it will likely run past 10:30, and because of that we should plan for an additional date now, so that members can make arrangements in advance to make sure they're there, because otherwise it's sprung on too quickly. Chairman, I'll go now back to 1.3.13M of the procedure rules. Chairman, this is to do with leaders' questions, and it concerns me enormously that members haven't really had the opportunity on a lot of occasions now to put questions to the leader. We have a election in 4 months. We know that the Constitution says that you can't have leaders' questions at the budget meeting in February, so there's really only one left, and I know that several members would like to ask questions of the leader. Chairman, you rightly said that couldn't happen because of the time at the last meeting. I think Council accepts that. But, Chairman, this is part of that meeting. This now becomes part of this meeting, and I suspect, without looking around, and having just had my watch serviced, and traditionally it's already 2 minutes slow, it's 25 to 7, and it says that, you know, we can extend the meeting, and you can have leaders' questions. So even though you discounted it at the last meeting, Chairman, I would ask you to consider allowing leaders' questions this evening. I believe it will be quite short. If you're mindful to allow that in the spirit of democracy, openness and transparency, then I think that should happen now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fluker. I'm not sure what the actual point of order is, whether it's questions to the leader, which I have informed you via email that it is not good practice to go back on an agenda. And you mentioned people walking out. I seem to remember that you was the instigator of people walking out.
Well, Chairman, greatest respect, I would ask you to look at the tape, because that's clearly not what I saw. The meeting was closed. Chairman, what I'm saying is my point of order is quite straightforward. 10 p.m, no leaders' questions. 7:30 in the continuation of the meeting. But why are we
have passed that agenda item?
But why?
It is a continuation of a meeting, as you've quite rightly pointed out.
Well, Chairman,
and therefore that agenda item is gone.
Well, Chairman, like the people of Southminster already texted me, they're saying to me, "Is this democracy or not? What's the leader got to hide?" Thank you.
The democracy is in my ruling, and I don't believe you actually had the right point of order number. It should have been Rule 1.6 that you referred to, which is, I think, the termination of the meeting. But that's not about the leader's questions, which is a different. I mean, you seem to have about 3 different points of order. No, I will not go back on the agenda, and I shall move on now to agenda item 17. Councillor Stamp.
Thank you, Chairman. I've actually took this afternoon to actually look at leaders' questions, because I think it is really important for everybody to have the opportunity to speak and ask questions. I take on board that it's in breach of the Constitution, and if you'll just forgive me and allow me a little bit of time. The leader was elected on the 18th of January 2022. Leaders' questions took place on the 3rd of March, one session. The 29th of the 9th, no questions due to the lateness of the meeting. The 3rd of the 11th, 2022, there was leaders' questions. 15th of December, there was no questions due to the lateness. So that means for the whole of a year, Mr. Chairman, we've had 2 opportunities to raise questions, and I know you're going to stop me, and I understand why, but it's not democratic, and I'm very surprised I'm actually agreeing with Mr. Fluke, Councillor Fluker.
It's the same ruling.
I know, but it's not fair, Chairman.
Agenda item 17, business by reason of special circumstances. I have none. I now go on to agenda item 18, which is, and I propose the exclusion of the public and press, to resolve that under section 100A4 of the Local Government Act 1972, the public be excluded from the meeting for the following items of business, on the grounds they involve the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in paragraph 3 of part 1 of schedule 12A to the Act, and that satisfies the public interest test. Is that seconded? Is that seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you. Councillor Fluker.
Thank you, Chairman. I wish to speak against the proposal, Chairman, and actually already allowed me to do so.
It is a motion to council, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Oh, right, okay. So
I don't want any more filibustering tonight. We'll have to try and get the business of the council completed.
I've got no idea. So, Chairman, I mean, quite straightforward. I placed a motion before this council, and you agreed at that time for me to come back and speak in favour, speak to my motion at this point. That's not disputed. The minutes of the last meeting of this council on the 15th of December are published. They're available on the website. Chairman, your proposal is that that we move this session into private and confidential. Chairman, I'm particularly interested in page 123 and the proposals on that page. Maybe the monitoring officer.
Councillor Fluker, can I say
yes?
that if you're against this motion, then what you do is you vote against it.
Well, Chairman, I'm surely I can speak to it and explain to members why I think it's right.
I've given you that right, yes.
Yeah, well, okay, thanks. So that's what I'm going to do. But what I'm going to say, I was trying to save your time because you're keen not for anybody to filibuster. And I thought, well, if the monitoring officer rules on this, it could sign. But, Chairman, I mean, there's lots of different issues with this because even in Article 1 of the Constitution commits the Council to efficiency, transparency, openness and accountability in its decision making. Chairman, I would say that on page 123, which you've just proposed should be held in private session, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 items which are unrelated, Chairman, for which there is no reason they should be in private session. The public go back to the Article 1, that we need to be open and transparent when we debate those figures. I mean, that's what we need to do, Chairman, and I would propose that with the exception of the first item on page 123, all other items in the best interests of the public and transparency and openness are held in public session. As to do otherwise, I believe, would be contrary to the local government Act. Thank you.
Is that seconded?
Well, thanks.
That's an amendment, which is allowable. I think. It is. That's an amendment. I'll put that to the vote straight away. But I don't know whether Mr. Quelch wants to say anything about the paragraph 3 of the Local Government Act.
Yeah, I mean, paragraph 3, sorry, Jim. Paragraph 3 is the paragraph that deals with the business and financial affairs of any individual, including the council itself. But there's two tests, isn't there? There's two tests. The first one is this within paragraph 3? In other words, is it to do with the business and or financial affairs of the council? And then, if it is it in the public interest? And I think that's where probably Councillor Fluker is going. Is it in the public interest for that to be P&C, or does the need for the public to witness and hear what's said outweigh? So there's two tests. Number one, is it in paragraph 3? Number 2, you've got to apply the public interest test. Now, just a practicality here from personal experience, Chairman, and that is that you've got a whole number of issues that are to be savings, as I understand it, in this particular recommendation from Strategy and Resources. And yes, you could say some of those can be debated in public and some can be debated in private. You could do that. The trouble is that if you as members want to debate the relative merits of each saving proposal, because you might not want to go for all of them, and see which ones are more important than others, you may then be straying into those matters that you said are public and those matters which are private, if you see what I mean.
No, I don't.
Let me explain it again. That you have a document that has a whole load of savings proposals that have been recommended by Strategy and Resources. As a membership, you will be debating not only the individual items, but you may be assessing the merits of one against another, particularly if you don't want to accept all the savings.
We're being told to say.
I think you've made the position clear, Mr. Quelch.
Can't we talk about closing toilets in public session?
I'll now put that amendment to the vote. Those in favour of the amendment, please show. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Can I have a recorded vote, please, Chairman? Thank you. Bearing in mind what's on that list, because it will become public.
Is that seconded?
This is electioneering at its best.
Is that seconded?
Yes, that's seconded.
Right, Tara.
Closing toilets in private.
Those in favour will say agree, and those who accept Mr. Quelch's advice would say the opposite. Against. Tara, are you ready to call the roll?
How can you close toilets?
Members, if I may just, Mr. Chairman, say for or against abstain, please. Councillor Passenger, I'm not sure if it's present, Chairman.
Yep, against. Thanks, Tara. Against.
Sorry, I couldn't see. Thank you. Councillor Bell,
Abstain.
Councillor Boyce,
Against.
and Councillor Mrs. Channer.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Dewick. Sorry, could you repeat that, please?
Agree or for, whichever.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Councillor Edwards,
Against.
Councillor Mrs. Fleming,
Against.
Councillor Fluker.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Hurd,
Against.
Councillor Helm,
For.
Councillor Keys,
Against.
Councillor Lagan,
For, please.
thank you. Councillor Mays,
Against.
Councillor Morgan,
Against.
Councillor Morley,
Against.
Councillor Nunn,
Against.
Councillor Shaughnessy,
It's not here.
Councillor Siddle,
Against.
Councillor Spenceley,
Against.
Councillor Stamp,
For.
Councillor Stilt,
Not here.
Councillor Swain,
Against.
Councillor Mrs. Thompson,
Against.
and Councillor White. I don't think he's there either.
Not here.
Not here.
So, Chairman, the results of that are 5 for, 14 against, and 2 abstentions. Thank you.
Thank you. That amendment falls. Now the substantive motion is as I proposed. Those in favour, please show. Thank you. Those against?
3.
1, 2, 3. Thank you, members. We are now into private session. Tara, have we disconnected from the public?